The Federal High Court sitting in Warri, Delta State, has issued an order directing the Nigeria police to maintain the status quo in the ongoing case concerning the tinted glass permit. Hi, welcome to What's Happening. These are our top 10 stories countdown today. At number 10, Indonesia's government has suspended the operating license of video sharing app TikTok because the platform refused to share data about recent anti-government protests. The Ministry of Communication and Digital Affairs said on Friday. Indonesia has the second biggest audience on TikTok, owned by China's ByteDance, with more than 100 million users. At number 9, Arsenal have opened contract talks with defender Jurrien Timber as they look to secure his long-term future at the club. The Gunners are keen to reward the Dutch international for his standout performances, which have seen him become a key figure in Mikel Arteta's squad. According to BBC Sports on Friday, talks are at an early stage, but there is a will from all parties to reach an agreement to extend his stay in North London beyond his existing deal that expires in 2028. At number 8, an unconfirmed number of persons have lost their lives in a tanker fire accident that occurred at midnight along the Abeokuta-Shagamu Expressway. Punch Online learned on Friday from the spokesperson for the Ogun State Traffic Compliance and Enforcement Agency, Babatunde Akinbiyi, that the fire began at about 1 a.m. on Friday. According to Akinbiyi, a petrol-laden 33,000-litre tanker overturned due to excessive speeding and spilled its contents on the highway. At number 7, the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control has set an 18-month grace period, effectively giving food companies until early 2026 before facing full enforcement of regulations to eliminate industrially produced trans fatty acids. The Director General of NAFDAC, Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, emphasized that the roadmap moves the country beyond policy creation to aggressive enforcement and implementation. This was contained in the NAFDAC DG's keynote speech posted on the agency's official X on Friday. At number 6, former Nigeria Labour Congress President, Senator Adams Oshiomhole, has criticized the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria for escalating its disagreement with the Dangote Refinery into a nationwide shutdown of oil facilities, describing the move as hasty and unfair to other workers. Speaking in an interview with the Rise Television on Friday, Oshiomhole said, while unions have the right to defend workers, they must do so in ways that do not create wider economic hardship. At number 5, ex-President Goodluck Jonathan has revealed that Boko Haram insurgents once nominated former President Muhammadu Buhari to represent them in peace talks with the federal government. Jonathan disclosed this on Friday at the public presentation of Scars, a book authored by former Chief of Defense Staff General Lucky Irabo, retired, in Abuja. The former president said his administration had set up several committees to explore dialogue with the sect, adding that in one of such instances, the insurgents named Buhari as their preferred negotiator. At number 4, the Nigerian Air Force on Friday launched a major internal drive to combat the rising threat of cross-border smuggling, warning its personnel stationed in the Niger Delta region against any form of collaboration or misconduct that undermines national security. The intensified campaign, which aligns with the strategic vision of the Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar, kicked off with sensitization lecture for personnel at the NAF base, Port Harcourt. At number 3, gunmen have abducted a police officer in the Patigi local government area of Kwara State. Ezra John, who is attached to the Lade division, was reportedly whisked away in the early hours of Thursday. Confirming the developments, the spokesperson of the Kwara State Police Command, Superintendent Adetwon Ejire Adeyemi, said the motorcycle of the victim was found on the roadside. Ejire Adeyemi, however, said the police had launched a manhunt for the officer's captors. At number 2, former President Olusegun Obasanjo on Friday said Nigerians must begin to ask the necessary questions to be able to deal with the Boko Haram menace, which he said had become a monster. While decrying the lingering insurgency in the country, he said that the Boko Haram insurgency was virtually part of the lives of Nigerians. At number 1, the Federal High Court sitting in Warri, Delta State, has issued an order directing the Nigeria Police Force and the Inspector General of Police to maintain the status quo in the ongoing case concerning the tinted glass permit. Delivering the interim order, the court directed the police authorities to respect judicial processes pending further proceedings in the matter. That's all for today. See you next time on What's Happened.